Hello, wonderful podcast listeners. This is Cindy. Allison and I revealed really big news on our recent live episode. We now have a website dedicated to this podcast. Go to howpreschoolteachersdoit.com to read stuff we've written, to check out the latest news, see the topics for upcoming episodes, and to contact us. We'd love to hear from you. Welcome to How Preschool Teachers Do It.
This is Allison Kentos. I am an early childhood educator.
And this is Cindy Tarabush. I am an early childhood consultant.
This podcast is for parents and early childhood professionals.
Let our experience and research-based knowledge become your guide. Welcome to our first episode of August, when you're probably getting ready to go back to school or send children back to school. And Allison is getting ready to go back to school, right, Allison?
I am, end of August.
Yeah. Yep, there you go. Some people start end of August, some people in September, and we thought that it would be good to do an episode about helping your children make that adjustment, whether they are going back to a school they've already been to or starting a new situation. It's always an adjustment.
Well, even every year, even if you're going back to the same school, it's still different.
Yes.
Because you're placed with different people and different teachers, and it's all new. So it could be a little anxiety-ridden, even if you've been at that school for a long time. So
even as adults, I think.
Yeah.
I think we get, those of us who work in schools, I think we get a little anxious at the beginning of the school year. It's the start of something new. It's a great unknown. Even if you know the building, it's still a great unknown what's going to happen in the next 9 or 10 months. So let's talk about how we can help children to make that adjustment.
Yeah.
I think if they haven't already and your school has a meet and greet, you definitely want to attend it with your child. I think it's important that they see the classroom and meet the teachers, and I would prioritize that on my calendar.
Yeah, definitely. I know that we have a meet and greet at our school, and the children that do attend it, which most of them do, but there's always a couple that are still on vacation, those kids are already less nervous than the ones that maybe missed it, because they don't even know what their teacher looks like if they haven't gone. So I would make it high on your priority list, maybe schedule things around it just so you can go.
Yeah, if at all possible. And if not,
possible, yeah.
if not, I would contact the school and say, we can't make it to the meet and greet. Can I still bring my child in the building? Because I think especially for young children, when we talk about school, it's kind of an abstract concept, and it helps them to have a concrete place in mind. But I wouldn't do that too far ahead. What do you think?
No,
What is your meet and greet?
My meet and greet is always, it's usually the day or two before school. Like it's 1 or 2 days before school actually starts. The whole school has one, and they're usually broken up over the course of like 2 days, over the course of a couple hours. So each grade has theirs, at a different time. But I have had parents who said, I can't make it to that one on Thursday, but I can come Friday. Are you willing to meet me, even though there's not a meet and greet going on? And I always say yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
ultimately it helps you if the child feels even just a little bit more comfortable. Ultimately it makes your day better. So I would definitely agree to do that if I at all possibly could. And again, even if I couldn't, I would try and make it so that the child can visit the classroom in some way, that someone can bring them in there. Because again, it makes it concrete for them. But I wouldn't do it too far ahead, nor would I talk about going to school or back to school too far ahead.
Yeah, because that's just going to build the anxiety that maybe they already have. Talking about it for long term could just make it scarier and scarier to them.
Right. I mean, I would start talking about it probably the weekend before the start of school and say school's starting, and then we can go do something really fun, like go buy our backpacks or whatever the children need together, buy them some new things. Yeah. Back to school shopping has changed from when I was a kid, I think.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, I remember back to school shopping being like, that's where you got a new pair of sneakers, a new pair of dress shoes, a whole bunch of clothes, and, like a backpack, a lunchbox, and that was it. You didn't have to worry about anything else. There wasn't this big, long list that people sent home, and it was just different. And it was a little bit more carefree and, not as stressful.
Also, I mean, when I was a kid, it wasn't online at all. We had to, there was no online. It didn't exist. So we had to go to stores. We had to go to stores, right? I remember this so distinctly. I remember we would buy new pairs of shoes, like you said. Yeah. And my mom wouldn't let us wear them until the first day of school.
Yes. Yes. My mom was, even my school clothes that I picked out, we
Yep.
weren't allowed to wear until the first day of school. So
And
I
I,
always made sure to get cool stuff because I was like, oh, I can't wait to wear that,
well,
And
exactly. Like I remember thinking, I just want to wear my new stuff.
yeah, and
Right?
you could,
I want to wear my
yeah,
new stuff, which was sort of an incentive for me to almost look forward to the first day of school, even though I didn't always enjoy going to school or going back to school. As a young child, I think I did have some anxiety and didn't always enjoy the having to leave the house. Once I got there, I was fine. It was
yeah.
the leaving the house and going there. And I'm going to share with you that that's part of a child's temperament. I'm still that way. Even on
I,
business trips, I get a little anxious before I'm traveling, but once I get there, I'm fine. It's just part of
I'm the
who I
same.
am.
Yeah, I'm the same exact way. I'm
Yeah,
usually like, and this is for anything. It doesn't even have to be about school. It could be like an event with my friends,
right.
like an hour beforehand. I'm like, oh, I don't want to go. Let me make up an
Me too.
excuse. No, I
Me
don't want to
too.
go. This is going to be, I'll just go make an appearance and leave. And then
I
once
know.
I'm there, I'm like,
Then I'm
why
the
was I
last
so,
person. I'm the last
I'm
person.
always the last person there.
Oh my gosh. It
And I'm
just
like,
it
why
speaks
was I
to
so stressed about that? And
it
even
speaks to you
though,
and I being
yeah,
introverts. We're
yeah,
introverts. We're
yeah.
friendly and I'm not shy, but I'm definitely an introvert. I'm definitely like looking for the excuse not to go all
Oh,
the time.
always, always. And even though like, the week before, the month before, whatever, I realized like, hey, once I got there I was fine. I will do it all over again the next time, even
Right.
though if it's the same people or whatever. I mean, I get stressed out before the school year just because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what's gonna happen. What if this person's not there? What if they change this? I have no idea who these children and parents are gonna be. I don't know. And you're just so used to last year's class that you're just like, oh my gosh, what if it's different? And then you meet them all at the meet and greet, and you're like, oh, this is fine. Why was I so worried about this? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
and if we as adults are thinking that, imagine what
Imagine
these
what these
wee little ones
children, I
are.
know,
Yeah.
the poor things. I feel, and yet some of them are fine. That's their
Oh yeah.
temperament. Some of
Yeah.
them like new adventures and they adjust well to new people and new places. Every child is different. I think we just want to be careful as adults not to add to any potential concern or anxiety that they may have.
Yeah.
And another way to be sure not to add to that, I think we shouldn't have extended conversations with young children about how scared we were and how
Right.
much we hated it,
Yeah. And I
right?
think even if you, as a parent right now, are scared because it's your child's first year at school or whatever, you need to mask that. You need to hide it and be like, oh, it's going to be fine. Like, just talk about it like you're excited too, even though inside you might be like crumbling.
Which
You
you
need to
probably are.
like you need to put on this face and be like, oh, let's go shopping. It's going to be a great time. We're going to go pick out your stuff and just be, and then inside or after they go to bed, then do your whole like, oh my gosh,
I think that holds true. I took two children to college. I tell you, it's not so different where I felt like, okay, I'm going to take them their freshman year. I'm going to leave them there and they just can't see me cry.
yeah.
And I think
Whereas,
it's kind of the same thing. Though I think we do have to acknowledge the children's fears. I think we shouldn't ignore
yeah,
theirs. That's different than me sharing mine. I think
right.
that when the child is afraid, we need to say, I know this can be scary. I
Yeah,
know that you're worried and a little scared, and that's really normal. The other kids feel the same way too, and probably your teacher does
yeah,
until you all get to know each other, and then you're going to be fine.
yeah.
So I think it's a very different thing to be talking about my anxiety versus acknowledging theirs, wouldn't you say, Allison?
I would say so. Yeah. And I think it's important, like if they do have fears to talk about that a little bit. Like, here's what you can do if you are at school and you get scared, you can go to your teacher. You know what I mean? Let's go meet your teacher. Like, and that's okay. But
One
you
of the
know,
things teachers can do, I think, right in the beginning of the school year is actually talk to the children about what they should do if they're sad or scared. Here's what we can do if you're sad or you're scared or you're worried or you're missing mommy or daddy or grandma or grandpa or whoever it is who's your important person. Here's what we can do. And I think we go from a strength-based place like that. That place of there are
yeah,
things we can do, there are ways we can help each other, and here's what you can do. And I actually think that conversation has to take place pretty early on, maybe even before discussing your classroom rules and stuff like that.
oh, it does. And I always start out with that conversation, but it's not even a conversation I ever leave because I feel like I talk about it all the time with them. Like anytime there is somebody that is sad or upset, I'd be like, well, let's think about the things we can do. What can we do? And they usually remember them, but sometimes they don't because they're so upset they don't remember what they could do, So you're just like, oh, let's go look. There's pictures of mommy over here. There's this. You can always ask for a hug, that kind of thing. And we talk about that all the time throughout the school year, but especially in the beginning of the year when the emotions are high,
Yeah, they are.
They really need to know what to do if they're sad or mad or scared.
So what do you say to the families who they bring their child and they're kind of freaked out and they're scared and they're worried? I think that it's a teacher's job and a school director or principal's job to also comfort them.
I have done that.
Yeah.
I get kids in my class, that's their very first time at school. Like they're the youngest ones in the school, and a lot of them have not been to a previous school. So usually at the meet and greet, there is a lot of kids there playing and having a good time, and a lot of parents who are coming to me with like very, very nervous and very concerned. And so I calm them down. I try to at least, like comfort them and be like, you can call, you can email, you can whatever you need, you can do all day long. Like
right.
You know what I mean?
Phone lines are open. That's kind
phone lines are open.
Phone lines are
open.
But please don't lurk in places where your children could potentially see you.
Right. I've had that conversation too.
Yeah, me too. I've had the conversation where I've said to people, you can wait in another wing of this building and I'll come in especially when I ran a school, I'll come and let you know how your child is doing. But absolutely, please do not hang out by classroom door windows or classroom outside windows because they'll see you. And that makes it so much harder for them.
So much harder, yes.
Oh my gosh, it's like torture.
And then the parent is sitting there thinking, well, he's still crying, but really he's crying probably because he still just sees you and he'll be fine. Like that's usually what happens in the first day of school, at least with me. And then the principal and the superintendent comes through. It's like, no, you're okay. Just, walk with me down the hall. And then, and usually they're fine. They just, some parents just want to see their kids playing and stuff, but it just, but it's
that's,
just,
you know what, that's the beauty of the times we're living in, that your school could have technology that helps to share that. There are apps where people can be sent secure pictures of their children doing things via text message. There's all sorts of school recording things now. There's even private groups of social media. There's so many ways for us to share pictures of your children with you that I just sort of beg you not to tell your children it's okay, I won't leave the building, and then don't leave the building.
Right.
And don't lie to them, and don't lie to them. Don't tell them I'm not going to leave the building.
Yeah.
But
Don't
some of
lie
this, like, don't lie to them. Didn't we talk about this in episode 2 when we talked about separation anxiety?
Yeah, we did. Because I
think we
having
did
this conversation.
I think we talked about something. So if you listening right now and you're thinking, okay, it's nice. I understand some of the things they said, and let's summarize some of the things that we said. We said do special shopping and hang on to things for that day to make them really look forward to being able to use and have those things, or wear your new shoes or whatever it is. We said not to talk about it too far ahead of time.
Right.
Right.
But I wouldn't talk about it too late either.
Right. Not too late. There's a sweet spot, like the weekend before, I think.
Yeah. Maybe right before the meet and greet. Because like our meet and greet usually is like the Thursday and Friday, and then school starts Monday. So maybe the Wednesday before, hey, tomorrow we're going to go to the school.
And we did say, please take advantage of the meet and greet. And if you can't do that, make another arrangement to get your child into the building before school starts. If at all possible, that helps them.
Yeah.
And other items having to do with the ongoing anxiety, which could be weeks, folks, weeks and weeks worth of separation anxiety. And it can come and go. They can be okay for a while and then start to exhibit it, or they'll have separation anxiety and then be okay for a while and then exhibit it again. It's all part of their development. A further discussion about that is in episode 2 of this podcast. So go into your podcast app, go to available episodes, and you should find it. And if you don't, and you want to be able to hear it, email me at Cindy, CINDY, at helpingkidsachieve.com, and I can send you a link to it. Anything else you want to share with people? Because we're almost at 15 minutes. Unbelievable.
Oh, really? Wow.
We always say this at the end. We're like, unbelievable. We really actually can't believe it.
I know, because it seems like it was only 5 minutes, but
I know.
Awesome. No, I think that's pretty good.
And we wish you all a good and gentle start.
Yeah.
And if your child is going back to school, may you have a pleasant reentry.
Yes.
And we will catch up with you again on the podcast every other Monday morning at 8 a.m. Our brief, approximately 15-minute episodes are released. We hope that you do subscribe and rate us on your podcast app or whatever you're using to listen to us. Of course, how many stars do we want, Allison?
5.
Yeah, definitely 5.
Definitely 5.
We're so jolly otherwise, but we get kind of sad if it isn't 5. Just keep that in mind. And we will catch you next time.